Hello friends, welcome to this week's demo, and hello friends, welcome to demo! Yay! All right, so today we are making a tiny miniature winter fairy house. Now, sometimes I make fairy houses out of a variety of different ways, but today we're going to be making fairy houses out of paper. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this little piece of paper here. Now I'm going to show you how to make a wood grain, something kind of makes it look like wood, and I'm going to do that in two different ways to show you the different styles. So if you happen to have a brown ink pad, this is a really cool way to make it look like wood grain. You take it and you go like this, you just swipe it across like that, and it makes it look like wood really, really quickly, which is really cool. The other way we're going to do this is you can actually take a brown pen. You can see, oh, the video is just going to be right here. It's kind of hard to see because it's only going to show this part right here. And so then I'm going to take this, I'm going to try and draw a wood grain. So this is how kind of a wood grain, when you're like, if you can kind of see on a tree, you kind of wrap it like this and kind of make it look like real wood. So it kind of looks like wood, like on like a wood floor. And so you saw your hand in the video? Yes, I know, isn't that fun? So when I'm doing a wood grain, this is kind of what I kind of call Pangea, but basically you're kind of matching it up kind of next to the line before it. So you kind of wrap it around like this. We're going to do this all the way around like this. And so you can kind of create a wood grain like that. You can't do this? You know, it's kind of amazing when you're drawing. Sometimes all you can do is draw another line that's kind of close by, that's kind of similar. And it doesn't have to be perfect. But if you're worried about, I do it really quick because I've done it a lot of times. But you know, if you're going to draw wood grain and you're like, I just am not feeling successful, what's cool about that is you can actually just take the ink pad and make the wood like this. So you have two different ways of making a wood grain kind of a look. Isn't that kind of cool? So this one's kind of almost like, if you're kind of looking and you're like, oh, yep, that's kind of wood grain or kind of interesting looking. This one makes it look like an actual tree, which is very cool. So that's kind of a fun way to go. So once you decided which kind of wood grain you like, you flip it over to the other side, and I'm going to take a little bit of double-sided tape and I'm going to stick it on one side here. And this is going to be the base for my fairy house. All right, so then before I take the tape off, I'm going to take this, I'm going to wrap it like this. I'm going to roll it up so it kind of wants to curl in on itself. And then I'm going to peel away the double-sided tape, and then I'm just going to stick it to itself like this. And so then you're kind of creating like a little cylinder. Looks like that. Whoops! That didn't stick very well, but it's supposed to. It is going to be a house. It is. I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be pretty fun. So it's going to have your little cylinder. You've never made a fairy house before? Well, this is going to be quite a good time.
I've been trying to make a fairy house.
You've been trying to make a fairy house for a while? Well, once you learn how to do this technique, you can make giant ones too if you wanted to. It's pretty cool. So once you... Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm going to show you how to make a different kind of fairy house because there's lots of different ways to make fairy houses. The most important part is that it needs to have a little door and of course it needs to have windows. Oh, my ink is not quite dry. So I'm going to actually, I did the double-sided tape technique on the other one earlier, so I'm actually going to use some glue, but we want the cylinder to stick in place. Sometimes if you use a thicker double-sided tape, it will also stick. But hot glue I know for sure will stick well. Okay. So then I need to cut out a perfect circle. Now, of course, if you have something at home that's circular, you can just trace it and then cut it out. But for me, I'm actually going to use one of these. All right. I'm going to cut out a circle, but I want it to be this big. This is the size I'm going for. So, because I want it to be a perfect size for the roof for my fairy house. So I'm going to cut out a little piece of paper here. I'm going to run it through the die cut machine. Audrey, would you like to help me cut this shape out? Since you've done this before? Oh, thank you. All right, here we go. We're going to cut this out. So we have our paper and we put our shape on there. You're going to help me out today on the little video. All right, and now go ahead and roll it forward. You got it, just like that. You might need to use both hands all the way. You got it, friend. You got it, you got it. I know it is kind of hard, isn't it, to try and do the die cut? But you're a good helper. Good job. I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Wow, my goodness. You got it, friend. Use those muscles. This will cut out a perfect circle for us to use for the fairy roof. Good job. Thank you so much, Audrey Sue, for all your help today. Perfect. All right. And now we have our circle. So this is kind of an interesting thing. When we're making a fairy roof, I remember when I was a kid and I was trying to figure out, like, how do you make the perfect cone for the top of a roof? And I could never figure it out. Well, the tip is, You got to help out today? Thank you for your help. So what I like to do is I like to first find the middle. So the middle is going to be right here. So then I'm going to cut out a quarter of the pie, right? So a quarter of the pie. So if this was like a whole pie, this is like a quarter of it, right? Because there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 pieces. So I'm cutting out 1/4 of the pie. Then I put hot glue on one side. I'm a big hot glue fan. I don't know if you figured that out yet. And then I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to wrap it around, and that's going to make a little perfect cone shape.
And the roof.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of like the ice cream cone hat. Exactly. Yes. That's right, but even bigger. And so this is going to be a perfect little roof for the little fairy house. Isn't that so fun? So now what I want to do, of course, is I want to make a little dangly thing. So I like to make a little dangly star. So I happen to have little stars and little snowflakes in this little container here. So I want a little dangly star, but you could do a little dangly snowflake if you wanted to. Oh, this you could have a little circle and you could put like a little snowflake on the little circle if you wanted to, or you put a little star on the little circle. But I like to have a little dangly thing. You're going to do the same thing I do? Well, that sounds just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to do the same thing? That's all right. I don't mind that at all. I love to give ideas to people, and I like it when they like my ideas. Then I'm going to cut a little string of paper, a little twine, and you can put a little bit of glue, but I'm going to use some hot glue here because it's just going to dry a lot faster than normal white glue. And I'm going to stick a little twine on the little star. Oh, and then we're going to stick this on here like so. Yep, you guys are going to get to make one too. Don't you worry. At first I do the little demonstration and then we get to make them. So once you have the little glue onto the little star, I'm going to take some glue, I'm going to put it around the roof here on the inside, and then I'm going to take my little string and then stick it on the glue. And then I'm going to take my house, I'm actually going to go down like this. Whoops. Stay in place, star. I'm just going to press that down in place. And that's going to hold the roof, and it's going to create like a little dangly star, which is pretty fun. And the little dangly star will kind of hang to the side. Then my favorite part is decorating the little house, and I want to make it as wintry as possible. So I pre-cut out a bunch of these little snowflakes already. So we will have some little snowflakes to decorate our little house with. And I like to use the little snowflake ribbon as well, because it's just fun that way. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to glue on some little stars, I think, because I love the little magical stars. Make me very happy. And we have wintry colors to go to decorate our little house. Then this is where it gets a little weird. So this paper is called mirror card, and it's kind of silvery. And we're going to take a special pen. This is called a glaze pen. I'm going to draw little windows. And what I like about doing this is when you draw a little window, and you can create whatever window shape you like the most.
I do that too.
You're going to draw a window just like this too? That sounds super fun. I love all the different kinds of window shapes, right? Because you have like the standard window shape, or you have the kind of magical window shape, or the rounded. Oh, you like to do the square one? I like to do the square and the rounded the most, but I think this one almost looks magical. It looks like an actual fairy home. Like the fairies are in there, and then it's nice because then their head could be up here, and then you could see their wings if you were looking in the window and you could see through the window. That would be pretty magical. So now, this ink takes just a second for it to dry. So I'm going to cut those out, and then I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to glue on little windows onto my fairy house. And it's going to look like the light is shining inside. It makes it look like the fairies are home. Isn't that so fun? I love that. And so I'm going to glue windows all over the place. I just think that's pretty cool. And then I'm going to cut out lots of different kinds of windows.
That's super cool.
It is super cool. I love it. I love it how the mirror card, that's what this paper is called. I like how it looks shiny. I like the little dangly star too. It makes me so happy. I just love dangly things so, so, so much. I'm glad that you're liking it and you're enjoying the little fairy house. Are you excited to make your own today?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you going to do a blue roof too, or are you going to do a different color roof?
I want a pink roof.
You were going to do a pink roof? Oh my goodness. That sounds pretty fun.
Did you want to do a winter one like she is?
You can do kind of wintry with like glue on some like little snowflakes and things. That would be kind of cool.
I want just a winter house.
You're going to do just a little winter fairy house? Yeah.
I'm going to put lots of snowflakes on it.
You're going to do lots of snowflakes? That sounds perfect. I also like to do a little snowflake maybe on like the roof a little bit. I think that would be kind of fun. And make it look really as wintry as possible. And I'm going to do a combination of the paper snowflakes and the ribbon snowflakes because I think that looks really nice. So With the normal glue, it just takes a minute. You have to press the snowflake on so it'll actually stay in place. And then, of course, we can glue on our tiny little ribbon snowflake as well, because I love the silver snowflakes too. Those are pretty fun. And I'm just going to do some little dots of glue to hold all of my little stars in place. Have to have little magical stars, of course. Whoops.
Do I have snowflakes?
Do I have blue snowflakes? That's a good idea. I didn't actually make any blue snowflakes today, but we certainly can. There's nothing wrong with that. It's pretty fun, isn't that? Isn't that cute? And it's just a cute little fairy house. All right, of course we have to make the door. So I would recommend, however you decided to do your wood grain, that you do your door in a similar kind of wood grain. So I've chosen the one where I did the ink pad. So I'm gonna just take that again and just wipe it on my paper. So that looks like wood grain again. And then I'm gonna just trace my door shape. Well, did you have a question, Audrey Sue?
No.
Nope, you didn't have a question? Okay. So I'm gonna just kind of draw a little door here. And I'm gonna cut out my little fairy door. It's just a mini fairy door, not a big fairy door. It's just a little itty bitty one. And then I'm gonna put some glue on that. Technically, I'm using hot glue for almost all of this, but you don't need hot glue. You would need hot glue to probably put the cylinder and the cone together, but you could use double-sided tape and that would also suffice. All right, and there we have our tiny little fairy house. Isn't that so cute, our little winter fairy house? Oh wait, I forgot the most important part, the glitter part. All right, so now remember when we were making our magical potions, we got left over with all of this. Now, I would like to just pour this on my head because I think that would just be amazing. But I don't know that everyone would love me shedding glitter all day long, even though I would love to shed glitter all day long. So you would like shedding glitter too all day long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue around the top here, and this is going to be like the snow. Yes, it's exactly right. So I'm going to put this around the top here, and I'm waiting probably about a minute for that to dry, because if I put it directly into the glitter right now, it's going to get goopy glitter all over the place. So I don't want that to quite yet. I don't want it to do that.
Cover my whole roof sparkles.
You're going to cover your entire roof with sparkles? Are you serious? That sounds pretty amazing.
It looks like it's dripping too.
Yes, it's kind of creating like a drippy effect, which is pretty fun. All right, and so I'm also going to put a little bit at the bottom here too.
It looks like goblin snot.
It looks like troll snot. It does. I agree. Goblin snot or troll snot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this, I'm going to roll this in here, and it's going to stick to all of the glue that's still wet and make it look magical, right? And make it kind of look like snowfall on the roof. And I'm going to do some on the bottom too, because I put a little bit of glue on the bottom as well. All right, and there we have it. All done. That's our magical winter fairy house. What do you think? Do you think that you need to have one in your room too? It's pretty fun, huh? All right, friends, if you guys would like to stop by and make one this week, it's just $5 for our little craft. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye. You want to say bye, Audrey Sue? Bye-bye.